Basically, what we're going to do in these videos, what I'm intending to do is to help you to understand what do you get when you buy the DLCs. I'm going to go through all of the DLCs, and hopefully this is going to be the best guide that you're going to find on the internet. If you are here, welcome. I'm Victor's Wargaming, so let's get on with it. So let's begin with the content of this. According to the Steam page, we have the Conquest of Paradise was the first expansion, and the expansions allows you to send ships off to the west and discover the new world, unlike any you've seen before. This doesn't mean that America is going to be locked. This means that it's going to create a random world. So Conquest of Paradise also offers the possibility to play as the Native American nations and is going to be focused on these factions. These factions are going to be added one mechanic that is called the federations, and they are going to have unique ideas, national ideas. So the main features are discover a new world, as it is stated here, and this is the randomized new world, means that no playthrough will be the same because basically you're going to generate a different America with a different shape, and you're going to be able to fill the exploration, so to speak. The colonial nationals, which are basically something that are going to appear, you're going to be able to create them. This is not exactly true because you can still create them even if you don't have the DLC. They are going to be created either way. But you're going to be able to manage colonies or play as the colony, which is exactly what the DLC does. You get the button that allows you to go and become the colony. And expanded Native American gameplay, which is the actual focus of this one. And Native American nations have their own new federation mechanics, unique ideas and buildings, and they also can migrate to other provinces that are around them. It says that the Conquest of Paradise includes 2,000 Native American nations to play as, but basically you will get them either way. So that's what we're going to be doing in here. So I'm going to explain you. And stay tuned because at the end of the video, you're going to understand something that is not very well explained on the Steam page, which I believe is a little bit misleading and it is not okay. The fact that you will need other things to be able to activate something in this DLC. Okay, let's do it the most organic way possible. So here we have loaded the Europa Universalis IV game in here, and I have the Conquest of Paradise activated, as you can see here. Basically, if you click here, you're going to see a little bit of a description and what the main features are. We're going to begin first with the colonial nations. So colonial nations are nations that are going to be on the Americas, but are going to be part of your own nation indirectly. So colonial nations are going to appear here in subjects. They're going to be treated as subject nations, but they're going to be pretty much semi-independent in a way. The only thing is that these nations are going to give a little bit of the tax income and they're going to send it to the mother nation. In here we can see that we can customize the subject. By this it means that you can change the name as whatever you want. And especially what you're going to see here is that the subject colonial nation is going to say here the type of nation it is. It's a colony, and it is going to share the same flag as you, but with a different color. The same thing is going to be applied depending on the regions. So for example, to make these things clear, you can see here in areas that we have the Colombia area and the Caribbean, and here we have Central America and Mexico. So for example, if you are going to create one of these colonial nations, they're going to be created once you have cored 5 of these provinces that are located in an area. And because we have more than 5 provinces here, it has become Hispaniola. This is the historical one. But as I mentioned before, you can change the name if you so wish. As long as we get here another 5, including Caracas, this one, and this other 3, we're going to create another colonial nation. And all of those are going to appear here. This is pretty much what you get in here. This is going to appear regardless of the ownership of the DLC. You're still going to have the mechanics of the colonial nations. However, the only thing that you're not going to be able to do is select the nation and click here where it says release one of your colonial subjects. You click which subject, they are going to appear there, and then we have this button here which says play as the released subject. If you do that, you're going to become the actual colony and you're going to be able to continue playing like this. Okay, now let us go to the mechanics for the Native Americans. Conquest of Paradise, it is not only based on the colonies and the interaction of your state with those, but it is mostly focused on the Native Americans of North America. The Native Americans, they have a lot of additional stuff in here. So for example, here I have selected the Anilco tribe in here. If you see here, this is pretty much a tribe. You can confirm this here, and you can see here that it's a tribe as well. Now, you can see here that you are going to be able to have all of these options as a tribe because it's going to be treated as like a form of government, and you're going to be able to have things such as chiefdom, federation, clan council, which is pretty much the one that you start with, and you can change even to hereditary rule. You also have in the tier 2, you have martial tradition, oral tradition, and land tradition. If you want to not to settle and you want to always migrate, you are going to be wanting to select land tradition, and in agricultural revolution you would like to get seasonal travel. However, if you select settle down, this one here, you're not going to be able to migrate. As you can see, it says Colonial Louisiana, add tribal. If you would like to do that, you would like to change this to migration. So this way you're going to be able to migrate. So when you click here, you're going to simply move your land into the other piece of the province. Now, next, we're going to go for these other buildings that you're able to build, which are going to be completely different from what you get in the vanilla one. So here we have the ceremonial fire pit, the earthwork, the fortified house, great trail, irrigation, longhouse, and palisade, including storehouses and sweat lodge. The other thing that you're going to be able to do with the Conquest of Paradise is, for example, the casus belli. The tribal border feud is one of the casus belli that are going to be added in this DLC. So you can just declare war because you are bordering another tribal nation. This is another thing that it won't appear if you don't have the DLC. So we have talked about casus belli and different buildings that you're going to be able to build. And we also talked about the colonial nations and how you can become one of those. But there are a couple of other things that you have to know about Conquest of Paradise. If you are liking the content, I would suggest to subscribe. And you can also like the video. This is going to help a lot me and you to get more videos like this and maintain the channel alive. In the slots for ideas, we're going to get the indigenous ideas. So you're going to be able to select this one. You're going to get things such as bountiful land, which is going to decrease the development cost and tribal and growth. This is going to change as well irregular warfare, which is going to give attrition for enemies. Then you're going to have the Great Law with monthly reform progress modifier, including braves, morale of armies increased, national manpower modifier increased with controlled burns, and trade with foreigners, which is going to get a reduction on idea costs, and also province war score cost minus 20% in treaties kept. You have this button here, which is called the natives. You can press F6, by the way, if you want to activate this, but there's a catch in here, and that's the one I was talking at the beginning of the video. Now, you see, this is the federation advancements for the natives. You can create a federation and invite others to your federation in this button over here. As you can see, this one is already invited. Federation with the Chickasaw, Natchez, and Pakaha. So this means that I have this one, I have this one, and the Natchez in here. So for example, if I would like to add another of those, first of all, I would have to have good relations with those, and I can add them to the federation. In an additional note, the federation thing is not tied to the federation tribe organization. You can even change to clan council, and you're going to be able to get the federation. Now, as you can see here, as I was saying, if you click here, you're going to see this one. But the thing is that if you only own Conquest of Paradise, there's no way you can click that button. The button is going to be deactivated. So nothing is going to happen. And this is something that I don't like here, but that's what it is. The only way for you to be able to get into this screen, into this window, is by owning El Dorado. So you're going to be able to click in the button of the federations. Again, I would say I never noticed this before in my own ownership of those DLCs, if you want to call it ownership, by the way, but we're not going to enter into that rabbit hole in this moment. But I never noticed this because I have been purchasing this as they were released. I never went and got into the EU4 grand strategy game and started from zero by buying all of the DLCs from scratch. Now that I'm doing this video, I noticed this. That practice of, for example, hiding one single button inside another DLC, for me, it is not good. Evidently, it adds a lot to the natives, and you will have a lot of fun with them. And also that the name of the DLC, pretty interestingly, it is based on a movie that was released in 1992 called 1492, Conquest of Paradise. If I have missed something, you can tell me in the comments. I think that this pretty much covers everything that you get with Conquest of Paradise. Thank you for watching.